be satisfied. Praising Christ the Savior for redeeming grace and love, I'll be satisfied. I'll be so satisfied, and I'll be so satisfied. And when my soul is resting in the promise of the Lord, I'll be satisfied.
Father God, we walked and we wasn't ruled. Yes, and Lord, we thank you for that. Yes, Father, we ask you to bless each and every one of us under the sound of my voice tonight for anything that's standing in the need of. Yes, Father God, we just thank you so much. In Jesus' holy name. And Father, we ask that you will continue to bless us. Yes, Lord. With traveling grace when we get ready to go back to South Carolina. Take us back safe and sound without any hurt, harm, or danger. Yes, and the ones that is traveling now, traveling later, give them traveling grace too, Father. Yes, Lord. And Father God, let my dad-in-law rest in peace. Yes, in Jesus' name. And Father God, I thank you for the Nelson family standing up so good and so great, Father God. In Jesus' name, I thank you. Lord, we ask that you would just be with us all as we go through this Bible studies this night, and let us all have a good study. In Jesus' name we pray, and we ask it all. Amen. 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 Amen.
Okay, as we move to our lesson 9, on page 46, what I always try to do is go back and make sure that we have what we've been studying so we can add to it. And because Peter tells us to add to our faith. So he's telling us to take what we've already have and add to it. But first you have to validate what you already have before you can add to it. And so as we've been carrying it going forward, in this particular lesson plan, we've been looking at God, the God who is willing to forgive. And it's all about the examples that God has given us in His Word that we know how to do it. We don't know how to do forgiveness without God's example of showing us and telling us how to do it. If He don't show us and tell us how to do it, then we're left to try to guess and figure it out on our own. And when we do that, we're never going to be able to figure out for ourselves, because we're going to say, I think it should go this way. And another person, but I think it should go that way. But when God shows us, then we know exactly what God means and how it should go. And so the author, he lays out for us that the first thing we have to make sense of is where we stand with God. So once again, he tells us, how God is so concerned about what we do, how we do it, that he gives us these examples. And so when Peter is talking to Jesus, he wants to know how you do that. How do you do forgiveness? Peter asks him, how do you do forgiveness? I got a brother, and that rascal's always upsetting me, and I forgive him, but how many times am I supposed to forgive him? He keeps sinning against me. Am I just supposed to be putting up with his stuff? And so he said, what if I forgive him 7 times? I forgive him 7 times. And Jesus said, I'm not telling you, Peter, just forgive him 7 times. He said, Peter, this is how you do forgiveness. 7 times 7 times 7. So this is how God said you do forgiveness. Not the way you thought about doing forgiveness, but you got to do it the way God said is really doing forgiveness. And so the question then arises, why should I have to forgive my brother so many times? And why is that right with God for me to have to forgive my brother so many times? Why? Because God is trying to tell him, because you're flawed. You all are imperfect people. And being imperfect people, you're going to say stuff to hurt one another feeling. You're going to do stuff to hurt one another feeling. You're going to injure one another and hurt their bodies, hurt their mind, body, and soul. You got the capacity to do all of those things, but then you need to have the capacity to just keep on forgiving. Because Brother Falk was on Tuesday night, he was going to talk about the tongue. Remember, he was saying we were going to talk about the tongue, how it kindles a great fire over there in James. This is what Jesus said. When you say stuff to your brother said something to you that made you mad, and you say you forgave him, but he sinned against you, you forgave him. Well, how many times I'm going to let him talk to me that way? You know, he ain't going to just keep on treating me the way he's treating me. All of us has been to heaven. When people have said something to us that we didn't appreciate, and whether it be our brothers, our sisters, our mom, our daddy, our associates, your husbands or wives, somebody done said something to us to hurt our feelings. And so God is saying, the way you deal with this is God's position is, you just keep letting it go. Because if you don't let it go, Satan gonna take advantage of you with it. Satan will make you take this thing, hold this thing too long, take it further than you wanted to go, and kept you doing it longer than you wanted to kept doing it. And then at the end, you've driven everybody away, ain't nobody left there. There's Satan free then to attack you, because you have no defense. And so now, Jesus is saying in order to be able to do this, you need to have that capacity. So in order to be able to forgive, the first thing you have to recognize, well, how do I get this power? How do I get it ain't easy to forgive. You know, when somebody really wronged you or did something you really, really bad, you can say, okay, I forgive, but I won't forget. Anybody ever heard that phrase? And so, because you have that capacity to remember, that means you have the capacity for it to rekindle the fire, to come back at you. So how do I handle this right here? We have to do just what Jesus told his disciples there in John 14. No man can come unto the Father but by me. No man can make the approach towards God's sovereignty and find that peace with God that you need to have, and to keep this thing from coming back up and burning you up. You need help from God. And to get that help from God, you got to come to me. And that's the only way you can get it. So if I come to you, the question then becomes, who are you? You know, we often hear people ask up here, who you supposed to be? You know, who you supposed to be? And so who is God supposed to be to y'all? Based on his text here, number one, who's God supposed to be? No, and number one said, well, who is God supposed to be? Number one here on page 46. Yeah, he's your sovereign God, right? What does it mean to have sovereignty? How does that look then to you? Regarding you, how does God's sovereignty look as being over you?
He's in control at all times.
So you said he's in control of you.
Yeah.
He has authority to be in control of all that you do then, right?
And we're supposed to call, when you humble yourself and submit yourself, when you submit yourself, being submissive, you are giving in.
Okay.
Giving in, and see, you can't walk this Christian life, how I want to say this thing, and not giving in, because this road, even though we got a lot of crooks and turns in it, but we got to practice that straight line.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes, and we're going because of the sin nature, we're going to step off track. But doing the same thing repetitious all the time, the same sin and stuff, God get tired of that.
Yeah.
And you know, that's just like a parent, you know, when you keep doing stuff and they tell you not to do it, and you keep doing it, then you get chastised for it.
That's it. That's it.
And this is a daily walk. It's a struggle. But you have to put your own mindset to it. It's just like the way you talk. You got to change your speech.
That's it.
You got to change your way you walk. You got to change everything about you.
Yeah.
If you're a new creature, how you talking about you're a new creature and you're not willing to change, and you're not going to change?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
You ain't never took that old man off.
There you go.
You supposed to put that
Yeah.
on, that new man on
Mhm.
stuff. But and if you don't, then that just nullifying everything you went through.
Yeah.
It just don't.
See, that's why David in the Psalms could say in the 23rd Psalm, "Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me." He said, and as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you are with me, your rod and your staff. See, so he said, like Nora said, I got to change. And the only thing that's going to give me the courage to change as I go through these unsure places, I've got to go through this valley that I'm not sure about. Like he was saying, you got to make the road, if the road is crooked, it got to become straight. If you got pitfalls, you got to know your way around the pitfall. So David can say, only way I can navigate this is with you, Lord, your rod and your staff. I need somebody to comfort me. I need somebody to guide me. And that's what they do. They guide and they comfort us as we move into the change. Otherwise, we won't move into the change because we'll come so far and say, well, I can't do it. I often hear people say, pray for me. I've been trying to change, but I just ain't been able to do it.
That don't get it. You've been trying to change. Evidently, you're not trying hard enough because if you want change, change will come about. That's just like anything else. If you get a dirty shirt, you ain't gonna walk around with that dirty shirt all the time. You say, I gotta change that shirt. You immediately gonna go and find another shirt clean to put on.
So you say you're going to do something about it.
You have to.
Yeah.
You ain't no need to keep sitting there fooling yourself.
Yeah.
If you fooling yourself, all you doing is lying to yourself, and eventually you're gonna end up. The devil, all he wants is a crack.
Yeah.
And when you go to doubting yourself and stuff like that, and carrying on that you can't do this, you can't do that, and stuff like that, you already got a crack that the devil finna slide in there.
Yeah.
And put his little piece in.
So when Moses was complaining about what he couldn't do,
He had doubt.
yeah, he had doubt. And God told him, Moses said, I can't talk. I can't do this right here. I can't do it. And God said, well, who made your mouth? And when God revealed that I made your mouth, he said, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to ask you, Moses, to do something you can't do. And so like you said, when people say, I can't do this right here, they're not recognized the sovereignty of God. They have moved, well, I don't know who God is, basically. That's why I can tell you I can't do it, because you can't, like Brother Jesse told my wife one day, Mark said, I've been trying to, he said, you're right, you can't do it. You can't do this by yourself. You have to recognize who you serving and where your power come from. If it just relied upon you, now you can't. Jesus said, without me, you can't do nothing. So we have to recognize, first of all, without the sovereignty of God, what can we do? Nothing. Now, like the beginning of the year, like my sister said, oh, it's the beginning of the year, time to make a New Year resolution. Well, this year I'm going to try. This year I'm going to try. Now, if I'm serving God, do I have to try, or can I do?
All you gotta do is put forth the effort, and God already, just like it says in Revelation about the churches, I know your work.
Yeah.
If God already knows, then why you got it?
Yeah.
All you got to do is put forth the effort and make the first step.
And to become what God tell you to become.
That's all.
Now God said, okay, now you once knew how to love, and you have left your first love. Well, the only way you can leave love is that love had to be there in the first place before you can leave it. You can't leave what you don't have, right? So right, when you look at the churches, them folks, Jesus said, y'all left. Love didn't leave. Something happened, but love didn't leave. They left love. And he did what Jesus told. They had to come back to where? Come back to where the love was. And that's not easy to do, because if I have a real bad experience with a church, I ain't going back over there. I don't care what nobody say. I go, and I even heard people say, I go to hell first before I go back with them.
And that's where you're.
Because I'm so mad at everybody over there, and I'm thinking I'm punishing everybody over there by doing what I'm doing, and in reality, what's happening to me? I'm punishing myself around. Yeah. By me doing what I do, am I going to stop God from being God? Am I going to change the sovereignty of God?
Because he says slow to anger and quick to listen.
Yep.
And if anger is the first thing that hits you, you got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You need to take a step back and analyze yourself, because we have to do that on a daily basis, because you don't know what you're going to run to out here in the sinful world. And if you ain't 16 sharp and you ain't prayed up, you're going to get ate up. It's something out there going to catch you.
Yeah. You know, because we think we're swifter. Yeah, just.
Philippians 4:13 is one of my favorite verses. Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what the like Brother Norris was saying. That was the new person would say. The person that's the new creation that took off the old man. Now that's what he would say. But the person that haven't taken off the old man, they ain't gonna say that. They're gonna say what they always said in the world. And that's why when we talk about judging, we're not judging the sinner, we're judging ourselves, because God told us to judge ourselves, because he gave us something to measure ourselves, to judge ourselves by. So if I'm doing what the sovereign person told me, the sovereign king told me to do, then it ought to manifest it in my life some kind of way. Yes.
Here's another good one, Philippians 4:18. But my God shall supply all your needs according to his riches and glory by Christ Jesus.
Yeah. So once again, like Nara said, when you know who has the sovereign power over you, and you are serving under his authority, under his control, if you're under his control, then you know all these things are going to be. Your God is going to supply. Because why? You, as a new person, you come to know that God hasn't failed you. If failure has come in, it has not been because of what God did to you, but it's because what we allow ourselves to let be done to us. We put ourselves in that situation, and I meet people all the time who put themselves in situations, and then they say, well, if God really was real, if God really was there, he wouldn't have let this happen to me. Have anybody heard that, stuff like that before? You know, and we find a way, the devil helps us find a way to blame God for it. Because you can see the immaturity in them, that they bring in charges against God. Because I look at Job, I say, now, if anybody had a right to complain, Job had it. But Job didn't complain because he recognized who God was. Just.
But the teacher, just as children have to learn to trust their parents, we have to learn to trust God.
Yeah, and so that's why Peter said that we have to do what, desire what? Of the word. The word of God is able to mature us from our infancy into what God wants us to be. Because when we become that new creation, we are babes. We don't know. We might think we know, but we don't know. You know, and so Paul said, when Paul said, for we walk by faith, how do we do that if I'm a new babe? What does that look like, walking by faith? I ain't never walked before in faith. This faith is something new to me, and I need to know how to walk in it. I need somebody to show me what does it mean to walk in this faith. And if you've been under God's authority and control, like Brother Norris said, you'll be able to do what? Demonstrate something.
And I look at it too as my daily walk. I ain't perfect, but I know them words will slip out sometime, but I practice finding another word
Yeah.
to put in that place. Because I look at it, it's all a test.
It is.
This is a test now, and God is the teacher and we the student.
Mm-hmm.
And is you gonna fail in his class? Do you want to fail?
No, you don't want to fail in his class.
No, because you know what the outcome gonna be, and you know you gonna have to put in the work.
Yeah.
And another one of my saying is, how do you want to get paid, or how do you expect to get paid by God if you're not doing what you're supposed to do and you ain't on the job? God requires us to be on the job, and it's
Well, how? What would you say be on the job? Well, how often should I be on the job? How long I gotta be on the job?
24/7 thing. Looks like, because you don't know what Satan gets you in your sleep. He'll bug you in your sleep. But then, and if you know it and stuff, and then sometimes you got to wake up. If you wake up, and a lot of us probably wake up out of dreams, and a lot of times you got to pray. And I
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as I sleep with my Bible in the bed, that's my ammunition. I got to stay prayed up because I got the devil in the house with me. And so I can't show no slack, no kind of.
Yeah. So you like Paul and said, but Paul had that thorn in the flesh, remember? And Paul said he went to God about it.
Yeah.
How often did Paul go to God about his thorn in the flesh? Anybody remember? He went to God 3 times, trying to get God to do something about it. And Jesus says, my grace is made strong in your weakness. It's sufficient. My grace is made strong in your weakness. Yeah, so that's it. My grace will carry you. So God didn't take away his infirmity. He said, what I'm going to do is supply you the grace to deal with it. Yeah, but you're gonna, and then when he says, and 1 Corinthians 13, there, I think 1 Corinthians 13:10, there is no temptation so great. Somebody go to 1 Corinthians 13:10. Because when we looking at God, and like Brother Norris said, if he's sovereign, then he has control of me. And Norris said he has control of me 24/7. In other words, he wrapped all up. He got me wrapped all up. I don't got nothing left. If it's like Brother Norris say, if he got me 24/7, he got me wrapped up, Brother Donnie. I can't leave the front door without it. You know, ain't no such thing as my time. You know, I hear people today say, you got to have some me time. You got to have some time to do what you want to do. Some me. When do I ever get some me time away from God?
No. You're not at a resort. We're not at a resort.
But I hear people in the world say that all the time, though, Norris. You got to have some me time. And so that's something that the Christian needs to distinct himself from worldly thinking.
God will give you rest if you need rest. God knows what you already need.
But my friends at work is telling me something different. You need your me time.
Because evidently they haven't learned how.
What you say, Suzanne? Yeah, and they follow that. But for us as Christians, what they're saying really then, what Brother Norris said, shouldn't have no meaning to us.
That don't bother me. I
Yeah,
I get my me time when I'm out there by myself on that road mowing and stuff like that. And Carol, like I tell people, a lot of them think I be waving at them or something like that and carrying on stuff like. I ain't waving. I'm out there thanking God, praying and stuff. I got this. That's what I was riding today. I got this.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nothing can bother me because I was worried about something that I wasn't in control of.
Oh, that's powerful there.
Yeah.
That's powerful there. Worrying about something that we have no control of.
That's a good statement.
Yeah. Worried about something we have no control over. How many of us have done that? I know I've done it. Worried about something I have no control over. Yeah.
I literally had to stop that moment and think about that thing. I said, what is you doing? And I went to laughing.
Yeah.
That ain't for me to worry about. It's not. It wasn't given to me to worry about. That's just a test.
Yeah.
That's all. And I passed it.
Yeah. So you found comfort. See, that's what we're talking about. Number 2, compassion. Knowing how God works on us, we can see God's compassion. I'm worried about somebody having no control of it. My compassionate Father has a way to remove that out my way. It's no longer mine. Yeah.
Because what I normally do when I find myself worried about something I have no control over, I say, Lord, this is too big for me.
Uh-huh.
I don't put this in your hand.
That's it.
This is something for you to worry about.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. I'm very
Yeah. See, the denomination world always uses it, but it belongs to us. The battle is not yours.
Why you fighting something that's already won?
Yeah. Because the devil tells us not.
Yeah.
But the minute you say that, for me, the minute I say that, then like 5, 10 minutes later, I'm not worried no more.
Yeah.
Because I don't put it in God's hands.
Yeah. And see and that's what you did. You've given God a victory in you. And the devil's mad. Yes, Jesse.
But teacher, one of the greatest tests, that I went through was 1985 when I lost my job with the state. I had a wife and 3 kids to take care of, in debt up to my neck, no money, and no job. Now that's a stress on a husband.
Yeah.
Knowing the family counted on me, I had a responsibility to take care of my wife and
Yeah, and see, I see people do otherwise. They're so beat up at work and all this kind of stuff. They commit suicide, or they say, "I'm going to get some milk," and they never come back home. They just abandon the family. You know, they better off without me. And knowing Satan loves to tear the house up. Like now, we say, get a foot in the door. You know, trouble has come. Now this is my chance to get my foot in the door. I'm really gonna get him now. I'm gonna make her yell at him because there ain't enough money coming in. He gonna feel less of a man. You know, he's gonna get all bottled up, tightened up, and every which way he turns, everything's falling apart. Yeah, because the devil gonna tune it up. If we say, Leroy, well, I know you were to say something there, but the devil get ready to tune it up. So you saying it's an everyday occurrence? Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, Brother Jesse.
Y'all know y'all heard about this, but a few days ago, one of my coworkers, a young guy, healthy, working good, I worked with him. Something happened in his life. He done something, I guess he thought he had killed his wife. But he didn't kill her, she survived. And he turned the gun on himself and killed himself. He was about 40 years old.
Wow.
And this happened a few days ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
see, without God, you do some crazy stuff.
Yeah, and I've been in places where I thought things worse than what they really were.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, I gotta go. Something went wrong at work, and all night long I've been in it, and now it's time to go to work. I say, oh Lord, I know what I'm gonna face when I get there. You know, I'm already imagining how bad it's gonna be. Walking to the door, and I get out the car. I get to the door, right, and this is how bad I had. A phobia would come with me that I found it almost next to impossible to get that door handle. Everything was in me was telling me, don't even bother. Just you done, just leave. Why you gonna subject yourself to something, man, it ready to tear you up in there. Don't touch that door. You know, don't touch it. And then somebody come by and open the door and go in, and then all of a sudden I'm like, Lord help me. And then it gives me strength, I open the door, go in. And it's not as bad as all that night long word, all that word. Say, oh yeah, we had a hiccup, man, if we took care of it, it's all right. What? I would do all that, it ain't bad as I thought it was, you know. Yeah. But that's when I know how powerful the devil is. To make me think the worst of things. And people like just say, people kill themselves because they think that my world is always crushed. You know, there is no recovery from this here. And I had a young man in the Navy that way. He went and hung himself in the closet because he had a fight with he had just got married. He had a fight with his young wife, and she told him she didn't love him. She loved him when she married. He said, "But you turned into a horrible person. I hate you. And she snatched her stuff and left. So that night he got drinking. The devil talked to him through the spirits. He went and hung. All the place to hang himself. He hung himself in the closet, cause he knew that's where she come in every morning, open the closet, put her coat and stuff in the closet, right? So she opened the closet, that's where she find it. Because he didn't come to work, we went to the house, and the landlord opened the door. So we walked around the apartment. I said, he ain't here. None of us thought about the closet. You know, we all walking around. He ain't here. And so, well, where's that wife? What? Just by happenstance, she shows up, and guess where the first place she go? To the closet. He done turned purple blue. He been hanging in there so long. Why you got it? Turned purple blue. And man, it crushed all, it grabbed us so unexpectedly that this would happen because we didn't see it coming. And I'm like, how do that happen to people? How do they just all of a sudden commit suicide? You know, they didn't give us a warning. They didn't tell us because sometimes they say you get the warning, you get the letters, you can have this, you have that. There was none of that. He was just gone. And you said, what do I do with this here? What do I do with this? And now I got to call mom and dad. I got to explain this to people. And like I was saying, whatever happens to one person, it happens to you too. In the church, when what happened to one, it happens to us all. We all are touched by that thing. We all are encapsulated by it. We all are in this thing to make sense of it together. Because there's no way you can just push it to the side and say, just leave it alone. God wants you to get something out of this experience. And that was a challenge. Yes, we cried. Yes, we mourned. Yes, we were perplexed, not knowing the ins and outs. But at the end of the day, God wanted us to know that he's still sovereign. He's still the sovereign God. He's still the compassionate God. He's the God that still cares about us. You know, and he didn't give up on that young man. That young man gave up on himself. You know, for him to do that, he gave up on himself. And that's why a lot of times when I see people, they say, well, you know, I don't understand y'all Christian. I'm like, why? As bad as stuff is, man, inflation's high, man, I can't buy a house, you know. I can't get a new car. All I can afford these old raggedy cars around here. They don't pay me enough. They got every reason to complain about everything. I say, you know what? I say, you forgot God bless you to wake up this morning. Not only did you wake up, he said, but he dressed you in your right mind. He put strength in your body. He gave you means that you otherwise would not have. I say, so what are you complaining about? See, it's so easy to forget and get caught up in the Satan talk. Talk God creation. Satan wants us to talk God creation down. Yeah. Yeah. That's what makes you. If you ain't got all of that, then you ain't nobody. And they forget, no, you are somebody because God created you somebody. But they think being somebody means that you got to have the big house on the hill. You got to have all this material things you got to have. And yeah, if you watch that One-Eyed Monster, that TV, it's going to give you that because everybody you see on there, like my wife watching this with the black ladies be on there in Atlanta, the Housewives. I don't know if you ever seen it. Yeah, we stopped watching it because all they were doing, they did not have, there was nothing in them that reflected that quality in the black community, quality of life. They were constantly biting and scratching at each other and just being so unseemly and carrying on. I'm like, you know, other people would love to see this as far as reflecting your culture. This is what your culture reflect like. Man, y'all a mess. And I could feel good about myself because y'all are a mess. And so they give that, and people say, oh yeah, you got good ratings. You know, you keep doing that. The devil keeps saying, keep doing that. You're tearing them down. You know, one night, one of the guys was on there, he was mad with one of the models, the lady that was a model, because she had started wearing them really huge eyelashes, and he called them wings. He said, why you keep wearing them wings? He said, you bet your eye they look like wings and you're gonna fly away with something, you know. Yeah, and one of the ladies, she had to go to the doctor because somehow when they was going through this the dirt road, something got caught in them, and she got an eye infection. And they said, you know, God, the hair on our bodies are designed to catch these things, you know, like filters, and so it get trapped in it. I never thought about that though. I said eyelashes, and he said, yeah. He said that in the sight that's so long, and you keep letting it get in your eye, it creates an infection. And now she walking around with these really thick shades on, and the doctor telling you got to put the drops in. You can't look up. You can't let the sun hit your eye. And really, she wasn't supposed to be outside, but because she's a celebrity, she thinks she's bigger than that. She don't need to listen. I'm going to do this. I'm doing me. And like Brother Norris said, if you ain't going to listen to God, if you ain't going to listen to good admonition, why even bother doing that? Just go on and go blind in. Yeah. And I'm like, you know, God keep reminding us, I'm here, I love you, I want to guide you, I want you to have the best. But there's something in us that keeps telling us, no, you can do this, you don't need God for that, you can do this. You know, there's an opportunity. You know, the young white guy that I was helping, Jason, that boy, I told him, I said, okay, we're going to help him. He had came here and told us, you know, how you know, he wasn't doing good. He came and helped me do some work around here. And I told Jason, I said, well, okay. I said, now, by doing this right here, and I think we paid him $100 for the work that he did. You know, help getting those outside single things put back up where the wind had blowed off. So he did some good work around here. And so Glenn paid him $100. I said, now, with that $100, you got enough to get your room over here at the Best, it's not Best Western, what is that place? It used to be the CVS pharmacy here, but it's a hotel back there. That's an oak tree. Yeah, it's something. It used to be a Budget Inn or something. And so told him to go get an apartment. You know, instead of doing that, he slept outside in the mosquitoes. You won't let nobody help you.
They don't want it because they're just like, just say a person that's drinking, smoking, cussing, going. If you know what I'm saying, if you don't want change, how you gonna expect
Yeah.
But what all you did was just gave him ammunition
Mm.
to do what he wanted to go back and do anyway, but he was just trying to hide it and cover it up.
Yeah.
Instead of being real with yourself, you know, how much is enough?
Yeah.
What else you need? That's what I don't try to worry about a lot.
Yeah. And so, but in that though, I was angry with him. And he said, he said, oh man, I know I messed up. Forgive me. And first thing in my mind was, I ain't gonna forgive you because we did good towards you. And look how you returned your good, our good to you for evil. I'm not gonna forgive you. And as soon as my heart started thinking that, it seemed like the light bulb came on. Just think how bad you was, and God forgave you. And I'm like, oh, you know, I have, for some reason, all that study we were doing, it was gone because of what he did. I felt that, you know, no way, I put myself out for you, and you didn't come through. So no, I ain't gonna forgive you. And I never thought about how many times other people put themselves out for me, and I didn't come through. You know, and so I had learned a lesson. I said, oh yeah, we've been talking about that. I have to learn to forgive. So like you said, number 3 here, you know, his forgiveness, his forgiving nature. If we have the nature of God in us, that Peter said we have the divine nature. Since we have God divine nature, we have that capacity to forgive. See, God gave us that capacity. Now we have to learn to use the capacity that we have. That's learning how to use what God has given. You have this in you. You can do it. But if you don't want to, God don't force you to. That's the thing about God. Regardless of what he give us, he doesn't. Sometimes I wish he would force us. But he won't force us. I wish that he would force us, but he would, free will. He will not force us. He said, I have a forgiving nature. You have to have a forgiving nature. I'm holy, you got to be holy, for I'm holy. Whatever I am, you got to be. I'm faithful, you got to be faithful. And those things are not, you can't make people do that. You can't make a person be faithful. You can't make a person be holy. They got to want to be. So if I want to be like him, then I have to want to. Like you say, like Brother Norris said, if you don't want to, no, God gonna still be God. But look what's gonna happen to us when I end. Who once again you go back to who have I hurt? Who have I injured? Myself. Because God has given me the capacity to be what he would have me to be. He made me a new creature, didn't he? If he could do that, he showed me how to get rid of the old man, didn't he? He could do that. So all these things that God could do, took away my sins, he could do all these things. Why don't I let him continue to work in me to do the other things? Because I maintain that just sometimes there's some things, I don't know why, but there's just some things in me I feel like, well, I'm not quite ready to let that go yet. Because it allows me the ability to fall back and just punch out stuff when I feel like I'm just tired up and just punch it out, you know. And I can feel myself, I feel like I'm in control, I'm alive, it's all about me now, you know. And I have to realize it's not supposed to be about you anymore. You are a new creature. The new creature is not like the old creature, but the old creature used to get to do this right here, do that. No, you're not that old person anymore. Let it go. And that's the thing that we have to learn is how do I let go? How do I, not all people just say let go and let God. That was an easy phrase to say.
Be submissive and give in.
Yeah.
Give in, don't fight. To me, God is like our IV, keeping us alive. And doctor tell you, so you got this IV in there, you got to walk around with it every day and stuff unless you want to live. And soon as you going to act up and stuff like that and pull that IV out your own, what's going to happen? You going to die.
Yeah.
I'm keeping it
Was you at the hospital with me and Victor? You must have at the hospital with me and Victor. Victor walking around with the phone, right? They got the gown on him, right? He walking around with the phone. They tell him, you're gonna have to stay until we make that final determination what's going on with your blood. But Victor was ready to get out. He said, y'all just want me to y'all just want me to take my money from the insurance. Y'all just want the insurance. I'm getting out of here. So he goes to just snatch the thing out, right? Walk around. So they had to get him, put it back in him, and put it back in the bed and all that there. And I'm like, what's going on with Victor? That's Jesse.
Jesus said, if any man will come after me, let him first deny himself
Mm.
and
Yeah.
We got to not self. We got to put self behind.
But that's hard.
You know, I just said what he said.
Yeah.
And see, and people they don't want to let go of what make them feel good.
Yeah.
Give them a way out. That's not your way out.
Yeah. But Norris, I look in the mirror. Like James said, I look in the mirror and I can remember like I was. And then I forget what meta man I'm supposed to be. I want to go back. And see, we live in a world today that all these people want to do is go back. That's what Mr. Trump's all about. He said, I promise I can help you go back. I can help you go back and have what you used to have. You can have the privilege and the predominance over other people, these colored people. You can have all of this what you used to have. They used to clean your yard. They used to clean your toilets. They used to do all this stuff for you. You used to go and relax and do all that. Your yard was pristine, and they had to stay across the track. And I could take it all from them and give it back to you, and you can have it all back. I'm your deliverer. That's what he told me. He said, I'm your deliverer. I'm your retribution. And they would just eat it up. They eat it. 'Cause we need that. We need to get back. We need to get back to what we had. And like you say, if I'm going to be submissive to God, if I'm going to deny myself, I can't go back. Because the Bible says, he who puts his hand to the plow and turn back is not fit for what? He's not fit for the kingdom. Once we put our hand to that plow, you cannot turn back.
And see, he want workers.
There you go.
Just like they say,
He,
the harvest is there, but the workers are few.
yeah,
And who want to work? Because everybody want it given to them.
yeah,
And it's for free, but he requires something of us.
mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't want to do it.
No, because that means you got to work. Like you say, they don't want to work. You the one that used that phrase. Somebody used this phrase. Don't want to work on a pot train.
No, I won't work on a contract.
Yeah, you know, and I said that's horrible because as much as I love pies, you wouldn't even have to hire me. Yeah, I'll do it for free. You know, but Doris said they wouldn't even work on a pot train. Pay you to work on a pot train, and they wouldn't do it. I was like, you can't get no worse than that. You know, not the one. Somebody's gonna pay you, and you don't want to do it.
And see, and that's why I made that statement last Sunday. I come here to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't come here to be no bench rider.
Yeah.
I can't get paid on the bench.
Nope, you gotta get out the bed.
If I'm not in the game, then my pay go down.
That's it.
I got to be in the game. I want the full reward that God got to offer.
Yeah,
And see, and I know he says it's more than enough, and it's an abundance. If he put all them things, you'll blow up.
you got that right.
So just give me a little bit as I go along
Mhm.
and stuff. I'm satisfied. Long as I keep climbing Jacob's ladder. every
Yeah.
day. And like the old church song say, every round
Go
goes
higher and higher.
higher.
Yep. So
And
that
I'm working.
yeah. So you have to do just like the Hebrew writer say, as you climb that ladder, as you run this race, you got to take off these weights so easily beset us. Because the weights that I carry, I get up, I'm praying to God, but there's a weight there that want to weigh me, that pull me back, that want to weigh me back down. Yes, Jesse.
Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended.
Yep.
But this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, I press for the mark for the prize of a high calling which is in Christ Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah, keep that in mind.
Yeah. And like Brother Norris said, it's something that we have to do 24/7. So you're absolutely right, Jesse. I have to keep reminding myself 24/7, lest I forget. And I remember we used to sing a song, lest I forget Gethsemane, lest I forget his love for me, lead me to Calvary. Anybody remember that old song? And so those words of the song will catch me sometime and remind me, lest I forget. Because there's so much going on, and, you know, before you know it, you want to react to the situation that you're in right then. But when you're new in Christ, you learn patience. Yeah, don't lash out like because everybody else lashing out. Don't you lash out because they lashing out. Don't you get caught up in their caught up. Because when I get caught up in their caught up, then I look just like them. And there's wheat and chaff that is growing. And when the harvest comes, am I looking like wheat or am I looking like the chaff? I'm gonna look like one of them. I'm gonna side with one. Either I'm gonna side with the wheat, or I'm gonna side with the chaff. And we know what Jesus said. Both of them ain't gonna get treated the same way. They're growing the same. They're growing in the same ground. They're growing side by side. But at some point, something's going to happen, but they're not going to get treated the same way. And so if I start acting like the chaff, I'm going to get caught up with the chaff and carried away with the chaff. But if I stay wheat, I can go into the barn. If I stay chaff, I'm going to stay outside in the heat, and they're going to burn me. You know, that's what Jesus said. Bind them up for them to be burned. Take my wheat into my storehouse. I get to go in the house if I'm wheat. If I'm chaff, I can't go in. But now I'm looking like me and I'm the chaff and the wheat. We hanging out, yeah, man. You know, and you know, I'll repent, but I tell you the truth. There were times in my young Christian life when the chaff would come and say, "Come to the club with us tonight. Man, you can hang out one night." So I put on the clothes of the chaff, and I'm like the chaff, popping finger, yeah, get down. You know, I'm doing the thing. Yeah, and I said, now if the Lord came that night, I'll be with chaff, because I'm in their environment. I'm doing everything they're doing. You couldn't tell me apart. But now, I know the difference. I know when I'm in the wheat, I'm gathering strength. What's in me is the nutriment of life. I'm part of what Jesus called the bread of life. I'm a life giver. Over here, I'm a life taker. And so I get to decide. And so the people today are like that, you know. People, they say, well, I'm going to play a little bit of Tariff, and I'm going to run back over and play a little bit of Christian, and I'm going to straddle in the middle, Jesse. Can I straddle the middle? Can I do both of y'all? I got one foot here, one foot there. And when Jesus comes, can I just snatch my foot on over here and be with y'all? You know? Yeah. So, but that's how people live today. You know, they straddle in both places because they figure that, hey, you know, I got a good balance on everything. I know what's going on.
Because they haven't fully taken off that old man. You want, how that said, you want to be dressed up and look good and stuff, but you don't want to pay for the outfit.
That's right.
You don't want to pay for the outfit.
Yeah.
And now some people, they want this Christian life, but then they don't want to put away their old, but you want that glamour and glory that what God got lined up for you.
Because
And
you
you,
want to straddle the fence.
Yeah.
and you know this thing,
Both sides of it.
yeah.
That's it.
You can't have your cake and eat it too.
But see that's why people out in the world want. Yes, Jesse.
Brother teacher, if you remember the lesson, Peter was caught up in that on one occasion,
Yeah.
and Paul caught him.
Yeah.
Paul confronted him, and here's what he said to him: "If thou be
Being
a
a
Jew,
Jew. Yeah.
living
After
after
the
the
manner
manner
of
of the
Gentiles.
then why compare the
Gentiles
to
live after the
Peter,
Jew.
what he's saying, you're being a hypocrite.
Yeah, you're two-faced. Yeah, you sort of two-faced, Peter.
So Peter, when thou art converted, strengthen thy brother."
Yeah.
You know, and then a lot of times, why you gonna call yourself a Christian? You can't show up to church. You can't participate in no church functions. When the church door open, you home or somewhere else doing what you probably should not be doing. But and then another thing is, and if God was to call you right then and ask you to say, what kind of pay do you think you deserve?
Mm-hmm.
But see, we want, a lot of people want the pay, but they don't want to do the work.
That's it. And so with narcissism, we've gone full circle right back again. Because the question we started out again, what do you do when people say, I want to forgive, but I just can't forgive them. I forgive you, but I won't forget. You know, because I can't never forget what you did. If you can't, then you can't have what God promised to those who truly forgive. He said, if you forgive, then I'll forgive you. But if you don't forgive, neither will I forgive you. So you took it back full circle, back to that same premise. You have to become like your Father in heaven. You gotta start growing in Him, growing up and looking like Him, and doing like Him. Then the more you do like Him, the less you'll do like the world. It's like Brother Falk, remember Brother Falk used this phrase here? What you feed the most, what's gonna grow? So you feed your spiritual life in Christ and let it grow. We'll get strong over there. And that old wicked man that we had, he will literally fade away. And when you go down the road so far, you look back and say, how could I ever have been that person? You know, because that's how I felt when I used to smoke. When I used to smoke, I couldn't live without it. It was like every time somebody stressed me, I had to have one. One no not. But I kept telling myself, like, oh, I can quit anytime I want. And, you know, it's just a thing, you know, a thing of me. But every time I got stressed, got so-and-so over there. Man, every time I turn around, they want me to work extra hours. Everybody else go. You know, I'm just, you know, not realize, you know, I'm doing this to myself. And so when the time came to quit, I put it down, and I don't know why. But it seemed like it had a way of just talking to me or something. I go away and then I start craving it, saying, you know, I need a cigarette. And I go and get some. They say, if you eat carrots, carrots. I'm tired of these carrots. Chew bubble gum. Bubble gum ain't satisfying. You ever like wanted something sweet, but you say you ain't gonna have no more sweets and you gonna eat all this other stuff? I don't care what you eat. I don't care how full you get. You still feel like you can be about to pop, but you still want that sweet. You know, I said, why is that? Why is that? No matter how full you get, you still want that thing. And I had to learn the only reason I was wanting that thing because I had not committed to the better. Once I committed to the better and started moving towards the better and doing the better, that desire became less and less and less. Then some years down the road, I said, I can't believe. And I said, ooh, I can't even stand the smoke on it. The way their body smell. You ever around somebody that smoke and then they spray themselves? I used to do that. I used to go to the store for all this neat stuff, the breath fresheners and clothes fresheners. I used to spray myself. I said, nah. And I walk around, they don't know what I done did. I can be all over your face. See, I got them because they don't even know. They ain't even pictures showing that they know I'm a smoker. And all when I was fooling with me. Y'all would know I was smoking, but why y'all wouldn't say nothing to me? Y'all let me live in my own little delusion. Y'all let me lie to myself.
Because, you know, it's not that because, like I say, it's a mindset. And I don't try to let nothing push me or push me to that point where I want to take somebody's life, I want to do something. I take a step back and look at it as such. And like you were saying, can I forgive you? Yeah, I will forgive you. But the point is, you done tore a big split in that trust.
Yeah.
And see, in trust with me, a man worth his bond.
Yeah.
When you lose that trust,
It's hard to get it back.
you can
Only God can knit it up.
with me, but we can't walk it together.
Yeah.
Because I don't trust you. Because see, you might push me off the line anytime.
Mm-hmm.
No. And trust is something you earn. It's
Yeah.
not a token. It's not a gift or nothing. It's earned.
Yeah, and see that was at the end of the day when we were talking about this. I said, looking at Job, that's what I saw when God said Job maintained his integrity. Job never let go of his faith to God. He never betrayed that relationship. All that stuff that happened, I could see that. Man, you done took all my. Y'all know how hard it is to get money, and especially enough money to live the life you want to live. I know it was quick. And somebody come and take your money.